Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So, happy Saturday. Today, I want to talk about Bitcoin indicators that reveal major rally ahead. But we knew this already. We know that Bitcoin is going to rally, but there's a few more indicators and a few more interesting facts I want to share with you guys. Anyways, so let's do this. Welcome, guys. Bitcoin still climbing up in the right direction, 26,500, a little bit higher than the last few weeks, I guess, right? Overall, this is pretty good. The entire market cap is still up about 1% today. That's fantastic. But first, let me tell you about this story. This is wild, and we hear about this all the time with banks. Supposedly, there is a customer at Wells Fargo who had his bank account frozen because he deposited $207,765. Now, according to Wells Fargo, they don't believe where the money came from. So I read this, and it's kind of wild. So Ethan Parker, okay, so he basically got an inheritance. Okay, I think it was his what is it? Okay, so he deposited $207,000. Okay, he opened his account for the sole purpose of receiving this check. His adoptive mother unfortunately passed away. Okay, so he told the bank, "Yeah, I'm going to get this large sum from I guess it's his inheritance, basically, right?" So after depositing, 15 days afterwards, they just shut down his account because they thought that the check that he used to deposit was fake. So then he went back to the firm that issued the check, got an official letter saying, no, it's a real check. It's not a forgery. They still do not believe it. And as of right now, they're still holding his $207,000. So now he has to go sue them to get that money back. Okay, that's just really strange. So, with banks, I know they have their rules, right? I know the regulators force banks and IRS force banks sometimes to ask you where the money's coming from and stuff like that. And there's a lot of rules they have to abide by. But sometimes banks just do some weird stuff, okay? For whatever reason, and that is why banks get slapped on the wrist with fines all the time, right? And business goes on. For example, last month, Wells Fargo paid $35 million to the SEC for allegedly charging excessive fees to customers, okay? Somehow, doing something illegal, charging excessive fees is okay. Money laundering, they get slapped on the wrist with large fines all the time. What about opening accounts that customers don't want? Yeah, that happens too. And they get fined for that, yet no one really gets in trouble or goes to jail for it. Banks are protected, right? They can basically do what they want. They can over leverage and collapse these days, and they know Big Daddy Powell will save them too. So it's like there's no repercussions. They just do what they want. But anyways, we hear about this all the time. I had experienced this before I opened a business account, and it never even opened. Like, I waited 6 months, and they kept asking what my business does, where the money's coming from, and this and that, and they didn't like the answers, and they shut down my account. I mean, I've experienced it firsthand. A lot of you guys have also, right? This is what happens when you have a centralized entity like a bank, right? And that's just how it is. That's why even Jordan Peterson suggests it's time to scrape banks and use Bitcoin, right? There's so many that are starting to question, why do we need to use banks when we have Bitcoin and Lightning Network and everything else that's out there, right? We have better forms of money. We have better forms of payment rails, okay? Decentralized ones that can't stop your transaction, can't close your account or freeze your funds, right? With Bitcoin, if you want to send money to your relative, to your friend across the ocean, anywhere. They'll get there in 10 minutes. That's it. There's no one that will stop you and freeze you or freeze them or anything like that. That's the beauty of a decentralized network versus a centralized network. And most people don't understand the difference, how powerful it is to have a decentralized network that no country on earth can stop. Think about that. That's why it can't be replicated, right? So, very powerful message. And as for this network, Bitcoin's annual settlement value now, how much money it settles per year, now exceeds Visa. That's a lot. That's a lot, right? So, if you thought that there was no transactions on a Bitcoin network and no one's using it, think again. There are definitely a lot of people using it. So, good. Very good overall. All right, what about these major indicators that reveal a major rally ahead? Well, there's so many of them. I didn't even want to show you them because you guys don't need to see it. You know what's up, right? But, why not? I think this is the Gaussian channel, okay? So this is one of those indicators that show you basically how oversold or overbought Bitcoin is, and stretches all the way back to, this one goes all the way back to 2014. And basically has done a really good job at measuring bottoms, okay? And you could see the bottom of 2015 all the way to basically 2016. And then we saw the same thing happen after 2017, so 2018, 2019, and we have experienced it in 2022 leading up to 2023. And guess what? We have now turned green. What does green mean? Rally ahead, right? The only exception to this is 2020. See, the only exception on any of these charts is 2020 because we had a major fall in March of 2020 due to the COVID pandemic, shutdown, quarantine, markets crashed. Okay, that was a real crash for a very short amount of time. So that's the only exception on any of these charts or on-chain metrics where you show a slight dip after the fact. That was like everything went down. But besides that, these are pretty darn accurate because, quite frankly, Bitcoin has small, I guess, compared to some of these other investments, a smaller time frame because it's only been out since 2009, right after Lehman Brothers and everything else crashed. So we have only had like about 3 cycles, right? But so far, every cycle is mimicking each other. And we do the same thing over and over and over again, which is a good thing. Form a higher low, form a higher high. We always come back down. And then after the halving event, great things start happening, right? So it hasn't changed. At some point in time in the future, maybe after 2030 or 2034, after a few more cycles, I anticipate that, yeah, things will be more calm, more flat. Bitcoin will be so high that there'll be a lot less volatility. It might rival gold's market cap at that point, right? So things will eventually change, but not right now. Not right now. And here's another indicator. I've never even heard of this before, the SROC indicator. And this one is even more telling because going back, the last time this happened, okay, the last time this happened, you could see, was back in 2016. Again, I lived around, I was in Bitcoin a little bit before, but I was a fool for not believing in Bitcoin, not really understanding Bitcoin when it hit a low of $160, right? Yeah, I lived through that, and unfortunately, I didn't get back in until Bitcoin was $1,000, right? But again, the indicator is clear as day. That was the time to be buying, right? And according to this SROC indicator, well, again, clear as day, this is the same scenario as 2016, right? When Bitcoin fell to 15,000 and now we're recovering from back up from there, it looks exactly the same. So here's another major indicator that indicates on a long-term grander scale that this is definitely time to be loading up before we start moving higher, right? So there you go. There you go. And if you don't like indicators, well, just know this. The fundamentals continue to get better and better and better. Over 57% of Bitcoin has not moved any Bitcoin in the last 2 years. That is a record. That's high, right? So, I mean, if you just measure it, Bitcoin held for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, 7 year, 10 year, they're all at all-time high, right? Bottom line is this, whether you believe in indicators or on-chain metrics or technicals, the people that are holding Bitcoin continue to grow each and every year. And that has not changed, especially now, even when Bitcoin is at 26,000. The fundamentals have never been better. Hash rate is an all-time high. Address is all-time high. Holders all-time high, right? Those things will continue to carry Bitcoin. That's why this cycle won't be any different than last. In fact, the only difference may be that the amount of money coming in will be way more than previous cycles. So that may be the differentiator. But we will get that rally. It will be coming. And next year will be glorious with the quadfecta that I've mentioned many, many times in the past. All right. Outside of Bitcoin, of course, it's not just about Bitcoin. Ethereum is still doing very, very well. Marks the first year of the transition from POW to POS, which is proof of stake. 1.5 billion ETH burned because of EIP 1559, right? So overall, Ethereum is doing pretty well considering the transition. There's a joke there, but I'm not going to go there. And then also, Ethereum is going to get its own ETFs as well, right? Besides spot Bitcoin ETFs, we're going to get Ethereum-based ETFs, future and spot for Ethereum. So that's also very, very exciting, right? Very exciting. You have gold and silver being replaced by Bitcoin and Ethereum. All right. What else is there? Oh yeah, this shows you Ethereum's exchange reserves just keeps on dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. And the same thing with Bitcoin too. The reserves just keeps on dropping again because long-term holders are loading up and institutions, they're loading up behind the scenes too. And not everyone is disclosing. Not everyone's like MicroStrategy where they reveal, oh, we bought $200 million of Bitcoin today. No, BlackRocks and Vanguards, they're not going to be doing that. They're going to be buying billions and not revealing it at all, right? So, all right, outside of Ethereum too, what else is there? A lot of people talking about Ton coin, and it jumped up even more because they just announced Telegram integration. Telegram, this is the funniest and wildest thing, and I still think there's something, to be honest, there's some fishiness going on with Ton because it is just going up and up and up and up, and it's about to hit number 10 in market cap, and this is crazy. They are definitely backed by Telegram and KuCoin, so there's something going on there. But Telegram, during Token 2049, just announced that they will be having an integrated wallet, and that wallet's from Ton Foundation, right? And of course, go support their Ton tokens. But you know, the whole thing is Telegram years ago, they were the Ton coin people. The billionaires behind Telegram tried to do it. They had a huge multi-billion-dollar ICO. They were ongoing. They got sued by the SEC. Then they gave a refund. And then they conveniently, rather than shut down the project, made it open source. So some team, I say some team, who knows if it's a family member, a friend, or whatever, took it over, continued to grow it, and now it's almost a top 10 coin, right? But I know there's still major support from the billionaire Telegram founders, and KuCoin is very integrated with them. So there's something, I don't know if there's weirdness, but there's definitely a lot of major support behind the scenes. That's why they have done so well. So I'm a little cautious of them, but man, they are. In fact, they are not. They are in top 10 now. I mean, they're right behind Solana. The way this is going, they're up 57% in the last 60 days, while everything else is down like 20% or 10%. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So I'm staying. I'm gonna stay away for now. Be cautious of this project because it's unnatural the way they're moving. Let's just put it that way. All right, and then outside of Toncoin, you got SHIB. Their burn rate is skyrocketing, right? Shibarium is out. Hopefully it's running. I don't hear about a lot of new dApps coming on board, at least not popular ones yet. I'm sure there's a ton that's going on there, so good for SHIB. And lastly, I don't know what happened here, but Mark Cuban got hacked for $870,000. The funny story is, according to Arkham, the hackers only checked the ETH side, didn't check the other sides like Polygon, the other chains, I should say. So Mark Cuban actually had 2.5 million of USDC in Polygon with the same wallet address, but they didn't check Polygon. So he actually, even after he got hacked, he had time to move out his Polygon assets, which is kind of funny. I don't know how that could be. And I don't know the story about how he got hacked or why he got hacked. You know, just according to Arkham, he was hacked and he was able to save his 2.5 million in Polygon USDC because the hackers just forgot to check. Okay. That's about it. Let's do some Q&A. I heard some people say, oh, I never stream on Saturdays. I don't know where those people are from because I've been streaming Saturday at 10:30 a.m. for like a year now. I missed a few times because of vacations or something, but I've been streaming Saturdays for a long time. So I don't know why some of my regulars are now pretending like I don't stream on Saturdays. That doesn't make sense. Or I should say they're not regulars, just people. Scrolling up here. Good morning from Denver and Norway. Welcome. Swashbuckling Scallywag says they could freeze your money like that. Yeah, banks could do whatever they want with your money. First of all, once you deposit, it's not even there anymore. Second of all, any centralized entity, banks, PayPal, Zelle, whatever you use, okay, they can all freeze your account and freeze your money. The governments could do it too. I mean, basically, if they don't like something, they can do it. And it's very little recourse for you. You have to wait so long to get your money back, if ever. Let's see. Zach is no fan of Toncoin. That's fine. Did Mark Cuban have his crypto stored at Exodus wallet? I noticed a lot of people getting their crypto hacked on Exodus. You know, this is unfortunately the thing with Exodus, okay? And I know they integrated with Trezor recently, but a lot of people could still use it without it. And I don't know the details, but I did see some other influencer that just got hacked for like $700,000 because he was using Exodus. I got hacked with Exodus years ago, and I've always said this. Because of it, I stopped using them. Exodus is a desktop wallet primarily, but they have like a mobile wallet too now. The thing is, they never implemented 2FA. So basically, you have a password, and then they have a recovery, process, right? Which basically they don't give you like a recovery phrase. They at least before, they would email you some kind of like encrypted phrase. Okay, so that if you ever lost your password, you can use password recovery, right? So how I got hacked before was I had a SIM swapper that swapped my SIM, right? Got access to my email, and then they started, brute forcing my Exodus. So the thing is, even with that password recovery encryption, it'll load up your Exodus, but then you still have to enter the password. Like, it doesn't just give you access to account. So because they had access to my phone and my my text, and at that time my emails to FA was text, so they were able to get into my email, then got into my Exodus, and then somehow brute forced and figured out my password, then stole my Exodus funds. At that time, I didn't have a lot. It was like $700. So luckily, I filed a police report and stuff, so I never got it back. But luckily, at that time, it was very little, right? But I've heard other people encounter the same thing. Either they got their email hijacked or something, and then they somehow brute forced their way into the Exodus wallet. So I don't know if that's still the case. I heard they got rid of the email recovery. I don't know if that's true because I have not touched Exodus wallet in many, many, many years. But I've always stayed away because of that, and I've heard other people get hacked in similar fashion. So I don't know if the recent ones were due to that as well. So basically, don't trust any wallets that does not have, either a recovery phrase or 2FA enabled, right? Something, That's it. Should I ditch my ledger for Trezor? Which should you use? I still use my ledger. I don't think you have to. If you make the switch, I think it's fine. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Ledger, Trezor, whatever. The only difference is Ledger uses Ledger Live, which now has like integrated swaps and fiat off ramp with PayPal. I'm sure Trezor has something same thing. I don't know what they call it, but it's like the little other services they offer. But in terms of protection, they're all the same thing. Basically, you have to protect your recovery phrase. That's it. It doesn't matter if there's a PIN device, PIN code on the ledger itself, and how many factors of authentication. With Ledger and Trezor, they're both 3-factor, not 2. But still, if you lose your recovery phrase, it doesn't matter. People will still take your funds. So the recovery phrase is the most important aspect to your wallet, not the wallet itself. Zach says more than 15% of your net worth and fiat is a sin. No, I would say having cash 20, 25, 30%. I think that's wise because you need that to DCA. I think 15% is a little bit too low. Do you see BTC returning all-time high when a spot is created or at the halving? No, I think it's after halving. The SPY ETF will definitely give it a pump, but we got a long ways to go to get back to 70. I think we're not going to see 70 and beyond until probably second half of 2024. Is converting USD to USDC on exchange taxable event? It is, but they're all $1, so there is none. Like you're reporting taxable event on $0, so you know, $0 income, I'm saying. So yeah, it means zero. How much are you allocating into AI? I don't know. Like zero right now. I don't own any AI plays. I think AI is way too early in this space. There's a few promising ones, but ultimately I think it's still too early in this space. Do you think H-bar and VEC can hit $1 and above? I don't know. If it's under 20x, then yes. VeChain has been doing pretty well recently because they got added on Coinbase. So can VeChain hit $1 in this cycle? No, because that's like 100x. And what was the other one? H-bar? Where's H-bar at? Hedera. Where's Hedera? Can this hit $1? 20x? Yeah. Hedera is more likely to hit $1 than VeChain is. Miles, what do you need help with? That's a blanket question. Or blank question, I should say, not blanket. Spanish Explorer with a heart. My focus is Cardano, Solana, Gala, Hedera, CRO. Anything else you suggest? Yes, a lot more. And and there's a few that you named I am not bullish on. But you should check out my DCA Wednesdays, which I have a sample portfolio that I've been DCing into. There's many, many crypto in there that I do like. So I suggest you check that out. I remember when you were longer on ETH than Vitalik. What do you mean by that? I'm still very bullish on Ethereum. For Halloween next month, can you buy a Charlie Brown shirt and wear it for us? No, because I don't like Charlie Brown. Ben Johnson, let's agree to disagree there. Yeah, unfortunately right now, because if you're in the US, you can't do KYC, and that means you can't use KuCoin. So I do agree that another alternative to KuCoin is MEXC, and I've been using it, and it works fine, you know. So if you're looking for a KuCoin alternative, I would say that MEXC is a pretty good one. Can you speak about what's going on with ARK? I'm lost. I don't know what ARK you're talking about. And I don't know what you're referring to. What are you lost with? Oh, by the way, the next crypto gem came out finally. Episode 2 is way better than episode 1, but there are some like editing issues, I gotta admit. But you can go on Distro TV. I don't have a copy. Otherwise, I would put it on my channel for tonight. But I don't have a copy. Maybe I could get one in time. But in case you guys want to watch it, go to distro.tv. Next crypto gem right here. And then episode 2. Kevin Harrington made a message in this one too. But this one I think is a lot better. You see the 4th team and the challenge, the first challenge they had to go to. But there were some editing issues, I feel like. But overall, it's a pretty good episode. And if I could get a copy of this, I'll put it on my channel tonight. More bullish on IMX or near. You know, I'm a lot closer to the IMX team, so I know like some of their ambitions and plans. So I like them. I like them a lot. I don't know anyone near, and I don't hear much about near, so I can't say the same thing about near. Miles, I have no idea when there's going to be a movie, if ever. All right, guys, that is it. Overall, bullish things are coming to Bitcoin. Don't let the banks seize and freeze your money and rob you of your money and buying power, right? So stick with Bitcoin. Stick with the greatest decentralized network and payment system that we have. And know that better days are coming. So stay strong, my friends. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. But tonight, if I could get a copy of the next crypto gem, I'll post it up. If not, you have to watch on Distro TV. And tomorrow I have a recap. All right? So have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.